Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Right Path Podcast, where being an author, an actual author, still matters. This is the podcast that's for authors, it's about authors, it's done by an author. Folks, this is where we come together, we share our journeys, we explore our creativity, and most importantly, here on this show, we examine the why behind it all. Our guest today, an absolutely remarkable lady who already is, getting me interested in all her products and everything else. She's showing me her books and stuff beforehand, and I'm loving every minute of it. This lady is the host of two podcasts. Well, she's the host of a podcast called Adrienne Barker Speaks. No prep needed. She produces another podcast called Professional Global Etiquette Podcast. She has written the book Unscripted Brilliance, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit, and then her newest book, Mannershift, is the one that we're going to be diving into today as well. Please welcome to the show, Adrienne Barker, M.A.S. Adrienne, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic. Very excited to be here, Rory. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. I appreciate it. You're quite accomplished in this field. You know, you're one of the veterans doing this stuff, and you have a lot going on right now.
It's funny. I think about it. It was really like head down and working. But in March, my partner, Sheila Slick, the founder of Pod to Book, started creating these anthology. Well, she created a way that you can actually take interviews and turn it into a book. And the book, it's like 80% finished. So you
Wow.
really come up with a manuscript. She married some AI agents together. A few got divorced, a few got married, a few had kids. And so with all of that group of AI, she's able to create something that is like her own secret sauce. So like Kentucky Fried Chicken, nobody's going to be able to find it. It's like lives in her computer somewhere. And it is creating manuscripts. I will tell you, out of the 60 people that I made as authors, because the cool thing is you can have a book and you could also be a contributing author in a book, which is just as great. And Pod to Book allows you to do it. And that's really where the story starts, because since only September, head down, I did a 2-day event called SWAT in Order, 21 speakers. And it was multi-streamed and live on Chatter Social. But within 24 hours after the event ended, all the speakers got their manuscript. All of them
Wow.
approved it, except Lance has 2 L's in his name. So like we had to fix that a few times because sometimes it like won't hear like the correct spelling. But
Mhm.
anyways, from there, it's been amazing. And then I have Unscripted Brilliance, the Podmatch edition for the Podmatch community, Unscripted Brilliance, Brave, Bold, and Brilliant from my show. I'm doing 2 more anthology books plus 1 more for myself. So yeah, it's an amazing way to take your story, your podcast, or even just if you've already written a book and you're like not sure what to do, then speak it into audio, and she could take audio and put it to the book too.
Nice. My goodness. I mean, you just dropped so much. It's like boom, 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 boom. I love your energy. I
Thanks,
caught
Rory.
this in the pre-interview. I'm like, all right, this is going to be fun because this lady is just on fire coming in here today. I love what you're doing there. And you've got these couple of podcasts also. You know what? Just tell me a little bit about everything you're doing, and then we'll get into the book. How about that?
So I would tell you, Rory, my algorithm is so messed up. So on Facebook, because I'm also the co-host of a very popular true crime podcast called Debate the News True Crime. We we've been recording 2 episodes since March. Now we're down to 1 episode a week. We record live on Chatter Social again, so we have contributors. So Joseph Labasco and we pick, what we're going to talk about. We do a general outline of the story. We did the Elizabeth Smart is already out right now, Debate the News. And then we open up to the general discussion, and it gets deep, it gets heavy. Sometimes there's great fighting in it. And then we debate what people think. What are their thoughts about the crime? What is going on right there? So Karen Reed is coming up. I think tonight it's dropping. So that is one. Then I have my daughter, my friend, with my daughter, Alana, who's 19, and just got hired at the favorite place that I love, because I see round is my favorite shape and the shape of me. And so she got hired at Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts. And that's where Mannershift comes in. But at first, we have my daughter, my friend, Alana, and I did a 5-month road trip 3 years ago. We created a website, and it was just the 2 of us on the road together. We traveled through the United States, and we met so many women that were like, it was either like this, oh, you're traveling together? Ew. Wait, you're with your daughter like all the time? I'm like, yeah, I don't leave her on the side of the road or anything. Like we're together all the time. And they were like, oh no, I could never do that. Or, oh my God, that's so beautiful. I could do that with my daughter. And we realize, can you be friends with your mother? Can you be friends with your daughter? What does that really look like? So my daughter, my friend podcast and road trip, we turned into a podcast last year. And that is a lot of fun.
My goodness. All
Then I
right.
have then I have the promo supplier playbook with Lisa Fostick and Kim Ballerine. And that is an industry specific because my background is the promotional products industry, logo merchandise. And so that's for boutique suppliers. And that's been like really successful. And so that's it. And that's what I have. So 4 podcasts.
Okay. I thought I counted 5 in there.
I did have the minority shareholder oppression podcast, but I am going to let that one go. So if anyone wants that podcast, if you are an attorney or talk about minority shareholder oppression, there's a lot of content and a lot of interesting information. I've only had a few interviews, so sorry if I interviewed you, but in reality, a few things have happened and I am not able to do that podcast.
Got it. Okay. But you're running 4 podcasts actively right now,
Yeah.
either on your own
Yes.
or with co-hosts.
Mhm.
And you've written several versions of the Unscripted Brilliance got put together. And
Yes.
you just wrote Mannershift.
Yes. And my bangs look good today. Just make
Your
sure
bangs
that
look
that's
great today. So, I mean, there you go. Okay. Well, first, congratulations on all this because I mean that's an unbelievable accomplishment to have all that going on at the same time. One podcast can knock people over, let alone as many as you're dealing with. So, congrats on that. That's just amazing. The book Mannershift. Now, on this one, I definitely want to get to the story behind this thing. Before we do that, give everybody a little bit of an idea of what the book is, and then we can get into why the book is.
So Mannershift is actually written first. It come from my podcast, which was a debate style podcast, and that was written to really have a little debate. When do you show your passion? When do you give advice? When do you share opinions? Is it okay to say K on a text? Like what does that look like? So I look at everyday issues and manner. So this is not your mom's manner. This is not, how we set the table, none of that. This is really asking and going deep into those questions. Do you call in late? How do you delegate? Because there's 2 sides to it, right? And I wanted to get both voices, which I did. So I write the script up and anyone could do this. So I'm going to share it because I want you guys to do it. I put it into Google LM. Have you used Google LM?
I have not, no.
Oh my God. So you go to Google LM and then you could put in like AI debate and you get the hosts. I love it.
Oh,
The source behind professional global etiquette says that you should be debating, you should be delegating your work. So that was that. And then you could create a video. So by the way, I have a great YouTube podcast also on the professional global etiquette. And that I've always wanted to do a book. 10 years ago, I'm a graduate of the Protocol School of Washington. So I grew up in the family business and realized at one point, I'm not comfortable. My parents were amazing. They were amazing founders and business owners, but mom and dad didn't say, Adrienne, this is how you like eat, actually talking about food. This is how you pick someone up from the airport. This is how you shake hands. I always felt like I was missing something. So, and there were other people around me. Honestly, they were all missing it too. I didn't have anyone that I could really learn from. So I checked out different schools. I decided to go to the professional, oh my God, what did I just say? Oh my gosh, the Protocol School of Washington out of Washington, D.C. And that was a great school. And then in my mind, I've always wanted to write a book. Etiquette is something that we need more than ever, but the new AI after COVID, etiquette looks so much different, right? So I wanted to do an updated book and pod2book.ai allowed me to do that. And then the story of Mannershift comes.
my goodness.
Tell me
Okay.
more.
Yeah, and there's more. I know there's more. So that's the book. That's what it's about.
Yes.
Why?
Because I always feel that, there are debates and questions. So, and it's interesting on the Chatter Social app, besides you see our face, it's similar to Clubhouse, but it's audio, it's streaming live, it's a variety of different things. I have seen some of the most incredible professionals, and they're really all business professionals, lose their mind their passion will come out, and then what comes out of their mouth definitely wouldn't fly in the face of, corporate etiquette. And as I'm listening to people, do I always need to give you advice, Rory? That person that's always like, well, Rory, you should color the gray in your beard. And you're like, why do I want to color the gray in my beard? And no, you really should. I'll make you look younger. And I thought, oh my God, wouldn't it be great to debate these things? But I tried to find some people to debate. Shout out to Dora Marie. We did a couple of debates, but the AI, they were willing to debate. And I just put them together and said, here's what I want to debate about. Let me know what it looks like. Do you call in sick? Do you let your employees call in sick? Do you work when you're sick? Like all of those questions that come out, what do you do? And so the big one is, do you answer the phone or do you let it go to voicemail? What if you're free? Like some people just let it go to voicemail. I say answer the phone, take care of it now. It actually saves you time than having to call the person back. Other people say no. Do you have to have boundaries? I don't have really many boundaries. If you want to reach me, I want to be reachable. I want your business, right? So do you want to be, as Dave Meltzer says, do you want to be more interesting or more interested? So like there's so many different things. So I was able to put that in and then from there create that book. So it's kind of my dream. I love it.
My goodness. Okay. Well, I don't want to color the gray in my beard. So,
See,
yeah, I don't know where that came from, but
people will
I
say
love
things.
this. So, is there when it comes to the manner shift, is there just certain categories that you deal with when it comes to this, or is this literally just whatever seems to be appropriate in the entire range of life? I mean, it seems like it could be never ending.
Yeah, exactly. It really is. It really is. So I did 20 episodes. And then from there, I picked 15 that I thought would make a great book. So, yeah. So if you do the system that we have laid out, you can have a series of books. So look for Mannershift 2 coming
Ah,
soon.
I see. So there's a sequel coming out. All right.
They're
So
easily.
you use the various forms of AI to write all this stuff.
Yes. Now, I will say I did write a book. It's Not My Secret to Share, which is another really interesting concept. Growing up in a family business, Rory, I had so many secrets that were shared with me. It was like, thank you for the burden of your secret. And then I gave so many secrets away that I would stay up all night thinking about the consequence of sharing something that I shouldn't have. And so I thought there's really nothing out there for me when I was a young girl. How do you teach your child about secrets? What does that look like? How are they going to learn? And I thought series of real life stories with an understanding at the end of each chapter what you should think about. Like we can't tell you that don't ever give a secret or not to ever share a secret or don't tell me your secret. But there's times when you may have to say, you know what, I may not be ready for this secret that you're going to, burden me with. So that book is going into its second edition. And that book was not written with AI. But the second edition will go from my brain right to AI because in all honesty, my handwriting is stinky as could be. Like I should have been a doctor. And so I see nothing wrong with AI and I love it. And I think it's just it's taking my story and maybe it's going to, it's still got my tone and all of that. So, but that's coming up. But right, isn't it funny when you think about secrets and you think about our young children and they may not share with you that someone shared a secret or that. So I think it's a burden and consequences of secrets called It's Not My Secret to Share.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. So, and when you're putting all this stuff into AI, now that takes care of the editing, obviously, when you're going through AI for that also. But then do you run into any kind of problems when you're going to publish, even if you're self-publishing?
No. So Sheila's Pod to Book is really interesting. Going back to the anthology, she created with all of her marrying of all the AI agents a manuscript that actually most of the speakers are like, oh my gosh, nobody's made any major change. So some people are like, this is so good, I want to add to it. But it tells a story that the narrative is so beautiful. And so that really works because let's be honest, a lot of people will go to an editor, right? And then they're sharing their information with an editor and the editor or the ghostwriter may be writing for it. So it's very similar in that nature. With Pod to Book, you end up with 80% of the manuscript. So I use that for everything else. And then I got into courses. So when we talk about Mannershift, we'll talk about the course I created. I love
Hmm.
Manus.ai is like my bestie right now.
Wow. Okay. Now, is
Yeah.
that an AI you created?
No, Manus is from Meta. It's an amazing
Ah,
AI that gives you, I mean, there's nothing you can't do with it, which by the way, you can even put your audio in and it will transcribe. And I just want to say, so when I first started, before Sheila started, I wanted to do this. So I took a chapter, put it into ChatGPT and asked it to like write my first chapter. The problem was it couldn't keep the format the same. It couldn't like it would do one or two chapters and then it would mess up again. And so I spent about, I don't know, maybe like 2 weeks myself back in January last year trying to put it together. And then in March, Sheila's like, I'm working on something. Just be patient. By July, she finished it. And then I had my first manuscript. Very difficult when you're using some of the tools like ChatGPT to get the consistency when you're doing something.
Hmm.
So something to consider. And plus, Sheila's pricing is so great that at the end of the day, why spend the hours to do it when she already spent the $600 doing all the marriages and divorces. So working off her is really amazing. So
My
that's
goodness.
how it happened.
Okay. So, like I said, the publishing part then is that you don't run into any issue in terms of copyright issues through the AI or anything like that,
No,
or
no, no. Through Amazon KDP, you definitely have to say that it's AI. So
I
they give
see.
you a spot. So yep, everything is AI. The book cover is AI too. I mean, obviously the book cover is my design. Don't you love it with the bright, bold, and
It does.
I just
They're
love it.
both great looking. For folks who are on the video, she's showing the books right now. They look great. So, absolutely, it does. Who made your
And my,
cover?
yeah, the covers. And then my next book is already going to be like a dark purple color. When Christina picked out that color, she's a 22-year-old young woman. For every book that I do, there's always going to be a couple chapters that I donate because I charge $500 to be a chapter in the book. And so I this one is Summer Woods. Summer Woods music, lovely girl. She sings out of California, Pasadena. Love her. So I think as for those of us that want to do and become an anthology author, consider giving a chapter or two, donate it because that's how we can help our younger generation. And so there's many of the people in the book that never had a book before, never been published, and it's exciting to give them a chance to have a voice.
Wow. All right. So I have an idea of what you're doing now, and I appreciate it very much. I mean, you're putting a lot of work into this stuff, and you've certainly done your homework on, how to work the AI. Uh, what is it about this entire thing, the writing and the podcasting and all that? What does that do for you? Why did you get into all that stuff in the first place?
It's funny. Growing up in the family business, I really cared about the employees. I wanted to make sure everyone was in the right place where they could be, not only while they were working with us, but like if they left us, I always like, what if they left? I want to make sure that they're trained and they could, go on to have a great career. I didn't realize that that's called a servant leader, people over profit kind of thing.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, that's really what it is. I've always been someone that wants to highlight, make sure that, if you said to me, Adrienne, here's my LinkedIn. I'm going to look at it, like it, comment, and I'm going to support you. And it's another way that I could support the guests that we're speaking of by putting them in the book. And we know that books are everlasting too. So I think about books have been around forever. So getting them in a book, getting them published, it's a great feeling when a guest can say, I'm in this book. Ooh, that's better than some things, what I'm talking about. It's a really good feeling. So I absolutely for all the podcast hosts out there, if you are and even your solo, by the way, if you have a solo podcast, it makes it amazing. Sheila did her solo one. Whoa, her book is great. So if you care enough, I want to brand the person. I spent years branding companies. Now it's all about branding the individual. It's just a good feeling. So I love to do it. I love to do the whole thing, the interview. Now we got the book for you and, and then all the other content that you do to help that person shine.
Nice. So this is something that you offer to individual podcasters to put together on their own with their own shows?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Imagine if you charge 500, whatever you want to charge. The manuscript right now on March 25th is 300 and I think it's maybe it's 380. I just had a brain fart the price, but it's under $400. So if you divide that by 15, the episodes that you can have, even if you charge 200, but if you charge 500, you still got to do the layout. You still got to do the dedication pages. You got to put it up. There's a lot of proofing that you've got to do. And then your front cover and your back cover. And then of course, all of the advertising that you're going to do. So, you can walk away with more money than you can by, how, maybe sponsors could do something for you. So there's so much that you could do. Chambers can interview their board members, create their chamber book, get their sponsors in the book, and now they've got a great gift, and then use it during their golf tournament, because who doesn't have a golf tournament,
Good point.
right?
All right. This is just getting more and more intriguing as we go. I had no idea we were getting into this today, which is great. So, it's like just each layer keeps pulling back, and we find out more about Adrienne and what you're doing. Now, how long have you been doing this with the books and the podcast?
So crazy enough, uh, September, Sheila was able to say, okay, she coded it all herself, by the way. She said, everything looks good, Adrienne, test it out. And so I started my first book. And then I had this crazy idea that was worked out so perfectly. Thank you, Mom and Dad up in heaven. It was called SWOT and Order. I had an idea. I love the old fashioned SWOTs, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, what you do in a business, because I was a SCORE mentor and the first woman's chairwoman here in Volusia County for SCORE. So I'll pat myself on the back.
Congrats. All right.
Thank you. I know, big deal. So anyway, so I thought let's do an event. So I got like I think it was 18 speakers and a panel of 4 that did a disability conversation. That was amazing. And within 24 hours of this 2-day event, 9 to 6, stream live and on live on Chatter Social with real people talking and asking the questions during the Q&A. And within 24 hours, Sheila pulled the manuscript on that one. I would say there's about 25 edits altogether. Like a couple of the names needed to be, if someone had a name like Lance with 2 L's, but other than that, amazing. Even G.A. Pimpleton did like a PowerPoint presentation. It like how he transferred what he was saying in the PPT to the book was incredible. So SWOT and Order is another book that I have available on Amazon. And so with that and these 3, I have taken since September, 60 business professionals now have 60 chapters in published books.
Wow. All right.
I'm
Interesting.
tired just saying that.
I mean, wow, yeah, that's something. But I can see the value to the product, for these folks. So I mean, I understand what it is you're doing here. And again, is there a particular type of business that might be more attracted to this as opposed to others, or is this really just open to anybody who's on the podcast talking about anything?
Yeah, for me, I mean, Sweet Noel May was on the show. I've had. I don't, so my show, No Prep Needed, is literally no prep needed. Even though we're on Podmatch, which I love, I don't look at the Podmatch when it comes in. I just match, because I can't say pass because that would be weird. So when they come on, the only time I look is right before they come on, so I could get the information clean on StreamYard. So when I stream it out live before we go live, and so all of them will get, and how I do it, I'm going to run that this time. So this actually, I haven't done this before, so I'm kind of curious. So each of them understand about the book, but I am going to give them the manuscript. They're going to look at their chapter, and if they like it, they'll pay me, and they could pay me by cash would be wonderful. Or if they're bartering something, or if they absolutely can't afford it, then we'll talk and work their way through. Or if they want to do, $100 for 5 weeks, like whatever, however I can help, because what's going to happen is once they see their chapter, they're not going to want to say goodbye to it. That's how confident I am. I am not collecting any money until they get the manuscript in their hand. I mean, who does that these days and age? I'm not about the money, though it doesn't mean that I don't need it, but I want you to see that manuscript. If you don't like it, we'll scrap it and take it out. No big deal. If you love it, it's going in there, and then we'll talk on how you can help me to pay for the book.
Yeah. Okay. My goodness. We'll talk about how you can help me to pay for the book. Okay.
Yes.
So when you said barter, you were serious.
Oh, yeah, like maybe you have something, maybe you're a coach and you have something that we can barter. I'm happy with that. I mean, the new world of business, right? I'm not trying to squeeze anyone. When we talk about my courses, you'll see what I mean, because I don't like VIPs. I don't like, upselling and all of that. I'm old fashioned. I know I don't look at guys. And if you're watching on video, you'll be like, no way. I'm 63.
What?
I know. I don't even have coffee in the morning. It's crazy. So
Wow.
I know. I look in the mirror, I'm like, whoa. And then I look real close and I'm like, oh yeah.
I never would have guessed that in a million years. And I'm not trying to butter you up. You're already here. So,
but if you do have, if you can like fill in my wrinkles, I'd love to have you on the show.
Okay, a whole different kind of barter system. I got you
Oh
now.
God.
All right. Well, listen, that was a fantastic segue too, because I think we have to hear about the courses that you offer for all of the stuff that you're talking about. I'm off script completely. I'm just totally enthralled right now, and I'm a fan. So, all right, tell me about your courses. What do you got?
So, when I graduated from the Protocol School of Washington, I wasn't like, oh my God, I want to teach, young professionals. But I have a young professional, my 19-year-old daughter, Alana. And as she's going and applying for positions, she says to me, Mom, nobody gets back to me. And there happens to be one restaurant in particular. And I thought to myself, they were so nice to her. And she even stopped by afterwards to say, I want to make sure that you have my resume. And just how Alana was handling herself. And I thought, how I'm going to use the word silly of this restaurant, this local sweet restaurant, that instead of just letting Alana know, yes, you're hired, or no, I'm sorry, the position has been filled, they also lost the opportunity to create a fan. And I
Yeah.
remember this when I had my own art gallery. My family has art galleries, animation art galleries. And I had opened one up here in Tanger Outlets in Daytona Beach, is why I moved here. And every single time when I went to hire my art director and salespeople, I used Indeed. They have a very easy feature where you can just, and this was 2018 and 19, where you can just, a little check mark, and it will send a sweet message to everyone that you write, saying, thank you so much for coming in and interviewing. And, I'm sorry, but, you haven't been chosen, but we'd love to have you come back with a little something, a little coupon that I gave them. And I thought to myself, that is really how you do it. You know what I mean? You don't, because these people, they're coming in. This is your local community. Why are you not getting back to them when there's so many ways that you can? And why are you teaching our young professionals that have graduated from school, that are so capable, that the first thing that they look at in his job is, wow, these managers and leaders aren't even letting me know? I mean, I took the time to interview. I took the time to make sure that my resume, like, they're taking their time too. And why wouldn't you give my daughter $2 off a soda or something, a small fry, and make her a raving fan? Have her come in, because what happens now is like, I don't want to go there because they didn't get back to me. You hear that all the time.
Right.
That place, if you're listening to this, that's absolutely ridiculous, because you have this opportunity and it's not difficult. So Alana is sharing this with me, and I'm thinking, Alana, you're going to have a lot of different scenarios. And she's, I've been doing this for 10 years. So she's heard all the interviews I've done. I used to have Adrienne's P's and Q's radio station. So I said, Alana, you know what? I'm going to create a course, and I'm going to create the course like I like to learn, which is by scenarios. Okay. I want to give me a scenario, and then give me like 4 choices. Let me pick one. I'm not going to get like in trouble. There's no like grading system, but maybe I didn't know that, when the boss says, I want feedback, how do I give feedback? Or I'm delivering some information to the meeting and I keep getting interrupted. What do I say? Yo, don't interrupt me. Like, how do you handle those situations? And there's so many. So there's 15 modules, 15, like, with 15 inside of them. So every single module has the 15 scenarios. And that all comes from my book, Professional Global Etiquette book. So that was like the whole, like, and so Alana and I did the whole, we ran through it all together to test it all. And Alana's like, I love it. And then I speak on Chatter Social at 7:30 Tuesday mornings, and I am on Clubhouse Breakfast with Champions Thursday mornings at 7:30. So I tested it there. And then I put the book out for the price of a dinner, $19. So, young professional can afford that. And then I said to myself, Adrienne, don't change anything about this, but the managers and the leaders, you are going to make the impression. You're like a teacher. They're either going to remember what a wonderful manager or leader you are, or they're going to think to themselves, I never want to be like Joe, who was like, always came in mean and yelled at everyone and, insulted me in front of all the other employees. So who do you want to be? And that is where it came from. But I will share a funny part of the story. So, so I went to Podfest in January, and I know my book cover was ugly. You didn't have to tell me my book cover was ugly. I knew it already. It was like this purple with this red going through it. And it wasn't a nice looking. And I'd wanted to get my book out so fast for Podfest. And Julie Riga, she says, she looks at the book, she sits down with me, and she literally goes like this. this book. It was said Professional Global Etiquette Redefined. One word, Adrienne. I want you to come up with one word. You're going to completely change this cover. And that's what you should do. That's my advice. And you know what? When people that are really smart and doing great things give you advice, you take it.
Yeah.
And so I took the weekend and then Mannershift because I always liked, I am a John Maxwell, not like necessarily like a huge fan, but everyone that I know that is a John Maxwell leader, I really like them. And I'm like, oh, he's got leadership, right? And then my buddy Mitch has mind shift. And I'm like, Mannershift. What an amazing word. So my new book is one word, Mannershift. And then so that book, I literally put, I just changed like the cover and all that. I am having trouble with the paperback style. I keep going back. I'm using Manus.ai, MANUS.ai. And then so what I did was I said, okay, now I have this amazing book. Let's make the course. So I have got Mannershift. It's $19. And then I created a companion site. So I pre-prompted it to make it easy. So let's just say, Rory, that you wake up tomorrow and you have a job and you're like, I am not feeling well. I literally just started last week. How am I going to tell them that I'm out sick? I don't know what to do. And so you can put that into the Mannership website and it will write that email for you. It's already pre-prompted. And for those that may not want the whole book, for free, you can have, there's different scenarios in that too. Not as many and not as, like enriched and deep as my course, but enough that you could like kind of go through some scenarios. So I've got the, I've got the podcast, I've got the book, I've got the ebook, I've got the course, I've got the YouTube channel. And I am open Netflix 386-631-4577. Netflix, call me today so we can talk about Mannership, the new TV show. I also don't mind giving my phone number because too many business professionals, why are you scared of your phone? Because guess what? If people want to reach you and sell to you, they kind of need to reach you. And if you think that an email is really going to get to you, you're silly. You are very silly when people send those crazy emails or all those LinkedIn messages, like, oh my gosh. So I have two courses, Mannershift, and I do have a LinkedIn course that's amazing. That's only $19 too. When you've been doing something for years, I have done over 100 workshops on LinkedIn alone. I thought, everyone's like, can you do this? Can you do that? I'm like, let me just give you the book, $19 for my course on LinkedIn. And by the way, can I just do this? Can I just say something
Of
about
course.
LinkedIn? Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be honest. LinkedIn's changed the whole algorithm. They're using Brew 360. For those of you that are selling programs out there and lead generation and courses out there on LinkedIn and you're not updated, you're selling the same. I'm breaking the fourth wall right now as I'm looking right at the camera. If you think that is fair and then you're selling it for $1,000 and what's happening is your clients are coming to me and crying that they just wasted that money, stop. Either fix your course because this new LinkedIn Brew 360 is not the same as before. You shouldn't be teaching an older style. And it just really rubs me the wrong way. All these people that are not doing it the right way. I've been on LinkedIn from the beginning. I was on LinkedIn when my parents would walk by me and say, what are you doing? I'm on LinkedIn. And my mom would be like, very, very nicely, she'd say, get the off of LinkedIn now. Like, what are you doing? Like that will do that. Get off that. And I'm like, Mom, no, it's my past, it's my present, it's my future business. So I have been on LinkedIn for many, many years. I've taught hundreds of people how to use it. I am what I would consider an expert on LinkedIn. I'm the only one that's got a program for $19 because I'm not trying to reach into your pocket and squeeze you for every penny that you have.
Wow. Okay. Gotcha.
Sorry.
It's okay. I love it. All right. So all the courses are available, which is beautiful. The LinkedIn one, that kind of, I guess, a bunch of questions kind of popped into my head. You said you've been on that since the beginning. Is that something that you depend on that has worked for you in the past then, that you're on it that much? Or is it because of the way you use it and what you talk about in your course?
So I believe if you're in sales, you have three things every day. You should be touching your past clients, your clients that you're working on now, and you should be touching your future business.
Sure.
And LinkedIn does offer you that ability to do that. It's a great way if you're meeting someone. I used to take, the 40 under 40 and those awards. You know what? If you're in your community and you have 40 women that have won the, women business of the year, send them a LinkedIn message. Tell them what that means to you. I support women all over. Every woman that is out there, a professional woman, is mentoring my daughter without even knowing it. And that's where you start to build your LinkedIn connections. Now, LinkedIn has changed because if you're on LinkedIn now, you're going to say to me, I can't stand all those messages and they're coming in and the lead generation. I single-handedly am trying to stop them by telling them one word, stop. Just stop doing it. I mean, why are you wanting to marry me and you're not even willing to take me out for a cup of coffee? That is crazy, right? Hey,
Right?
Adrienne, you connected. Now I want to sell you. And so I have a cute little message like you should try to date me first, because it's all about credibility. It's all about trust in 2026. All of that nonsense is no longer working. You're turning people off and you're actually ruining the app in a weird way. You're actually ruining it. A lot of people don't even want to come on LinkedIn because that's what they think. It's all that bogus information. But if you use LinkedIn correctly, I just came from Creative Con, an amazing event with that Julie Loken and Dominic Dominsky created this event. And let me just name drop for a second. Jim Quick was there, James Orsini, David Meltzer. Oh my gosh. We had okay, forget, my brain just went, but there were some amazing speakers, a 2-day event. Now we all get to connect with each other, and that's what it's about. Hey, it was wonderful meeting you here. How are you going to stay connected with them? So LinkedIn serves a great purpose, but be very careful of these like lead generation. You know what the weird thing is, Rory? Let me just be honest with people. You can't send out any more than 150 connection requests a week. If even, and you only could do that if you're using premium. So these people that say, oh, I could get you 5,000 leads and all this stuff, I sure as heck don't want any AI person calling up anyone to say, oh, are you interested in this? Because if you and all of us are getting more like loans, like it's like someone's out there trying to sell us a loan. Why would I go to why am I going to take your call when I know plenty of people that I actually can get my loan from? So same kind of thing. A lot of people are just not selling in the correct way. And sales has always been something really important to me, but it also forms in the mannership part of it. Corporate etiquette, your behavior matters on any platform that you are on.
Right. Right. Okay. There's one line in your, because I did read your Podmatch profile, and there was one line in it that kind of grabbed me. And I just wanted to make sure we got to this. And it is that it's not about teaching etiquette. It's about advocating for people who never got the memo and got blamed for it anyway. Can you expound on
Yeah.
that? Because that really caught me. And I think everybody's going to attach their own past, their own, trauma to that line, maybe. But that hit me. And I was like, I really would love to know what you meant by that.
So even now in the workplace, it's so easy. You may not have been told what to do or what not to do, and now you are doing it, and then you're finding out afterwards, oh, you should have been told not to do it, or this is the new way that we do it. And etiquette, it is making sure that both sides to me are really communicating. The term etiquette can mean a lot of different things. To me, it's about doing things right and making people feel comfortable while you're doing it right. And I really young generation, they don't know enough. They don't know what they don't know. So if all of a sudden you're going to yell at them because they, didn't do something that you didn't explain, that is a problem. But that's a problem that can be multiplied like, 100 times over by so many of the things that we may know in the workplace. We're graduating from high school and then we're dropping them in the workforce. It's amazing what we're doing. There's no schooling. So the manager leaders have to understand. They should take the course too, because they have to understand what it looks like. They have to teach, and they should teach the correct way so that when that young professional decides to move on in their career, they are walking away with some real, true life knowledge and wisdom that they've learned from that leader and manager.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that explanation. All right. So a little bit of etiquette is needed on both sides, sounds like, at the end
Absolutely.
of the day, right? All right. Before I ask our last question and we start to wrap things up here, tell everybody how they can reach you. Best ways to reach Adrienne Barker, MAS.
386-631-4577. If I want, Rory, you know what it's like, right? You want to have an answer and you got to look and then you try to find the person's email, or there's so many different things. To me, just if you don't want to give your phone number, that's my real phone, by the way. But I mean, get a burner phone. I don't know. I think that it's crazy. Email me at adriennebarker.com. In all honesty, I don't know where your email is going to go. I want it to go into my inbox, but maybe it's going to go in my junk mail. Maybe I'll miss it. Maybe you spelled something wrong. So I believe my phone number is the best way to reach me, because crazy. Oh, I'm going to say this slowly. I answer the phone too. That's
Cutting
crazy
edge
stuff.
stuff right there. It really
That's
is.
nuts.
All right, Adrienne, you've got several books out on the market. You've done them in a very unique way, and I think the story is incredible. For folks who are out there and they would love to be a published author one day, one way or another. What's the best piece of advice you can give to authors who are not where you are yet?
You know what? Figure out your story. There's some great books out there: how to be published in 90 days, how to be published in 30 days. We have podtobook.ai, PODTO book.ai. I have publishers that I love that can help you take your book to another level. So these days it feels like maybe it's my algorithm, but there's a lot of people out there that are really willing to help you to write your book, not just me. If you want to just start with a chapter in the book, I would absolutely, if you like my style, because I can't help my personality. I grew up with very funny parents that, and we're not sarcastic, by the way, though. It's really funny. I don't understand sarcasm, but I understand funny. Sarcasm goes right over my head because my parents were never sarcastic. I don't remember that, but then call me and I'll interview you and get you in my book. I have no problem with that. Also, make sure that whoever you're working with is credible. I think this is a year of that VET. Not only vet your person, vet your news, vet the person that you're going to work with. Just vet everything, because this world of AI, it's hard. Alana talked to me, my 19-year-old daughter. She showed me a picture. She says, "Look at this influencer," and I'm like, Alana, do you know? I'm not saying she is, but do you know that some of the most famous influencers out there are actually not even real people? They're AI. Nuts.
That's what you got to vet it. Absolutely. Great advice. Vet, vet, vet. All right. That's fantastic. All right. Author, podcaster, creator of Mannershift, Adrienne Barker, thank you for being with us today and just sharing everything that you brought to the show. You blew me away. I'm sure everybody's going to get a whole lot of value out of this, and I can't thank you enough.
Oh my gosh, Rory, thank you for saying that. That made my day. Now I'm even more happier. Look, I can't even stop smiling. It's hurting me. My mouth hurts. I need a massage. I have to go get a mouth massage. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank you for being here. All right, folks, this has been another wonderful episode of the Right Path Podcast, where truth still matters and words still have power. This is the place for authors who know that every page is a step forward towards finding the right path.